What is Roblox's most iconic sound? There's a lot of them, right? I mean, every timeless masterpiece has a famous soundtrack and at least a couple noteworthy noises. Just look at games like Minecraft or classics like Star Wars. But what about Roblox?
Well, I'd consider it a timeless masterpiece. In fact, I'd bet this Bloxy Cola that you're probably thinking, wait a minute.
Yeah, well, the truth is, just like that guy, we might have all been deceived. You see, there are two glaring factors that distinguish Roblox from its other gaming competitors. Since its very inception, players have been the primary source of content that fuels the platform, and Roblox Studio provides a toolbox of free assets created by the community. That includes audio.
Powering imagination.
What's wrong with that? Those two things sound great, right? Well, there's one massive flaw in this design. That's right, copyright has become a major threat to the platform over the past few years, with countless lawsuits filed and many games shut down. But how did Roblox's freedom of expression with sounds and music feed into that curse? Well, I know a place I can answer that question, and just maybe, find a way to stop it. So, has the curse completely warped our Roblox nostalgia? And how were the classic sounds of Roblox even made? Well, there's only one way to find out, and I reckon the best course is directly from the source. Let's start from the very beginning, shall we? As you can see, we're back in the early days of Roblox, somewhere between 2006 and 2009. I don't really know the date exactly, I kinda just jumped in hoping for the best. But by the looks of things, there seems to be a pretty good selection of sound effects and music already. In fact, despite being pretty ancient at this point, I'd be willing to bet you're pretty familiar with a lot of these sounds. So let's give them a little test run, shall we? Wicked! Hey, these sounds are pretty neat, you guys. A little low quality, but they get the job done.
Nice job, team.
It was still a relatively primitive era for technology during the early 2000s, and there were a lot of limitations for video game sound design. So if you thought the noisy 8-bit filter was a stylistic choice, you'd only really be half right. A lot of audio was highly compressed back then to keep games running smoothly. At a buttery, what is this, 12 FPS? Regardless, I bet you noticed a few sounds that stand out, right? Obviously, both death sounds are iconic, but all that movement back there and whatever that thing was when I blew up Telemon are also pretty nostalgic ambient noises. Clearly, Roblox had a jump start with some super talented sound engineers, so let's do a bit more digging to find their true lineage. Wow, okay, yeah, I did some digging. Basically, none of the classic Roblox sounds are original. Yep, unlike any other gaming company that employed people to make sounds for their projects, Roblox thought it'd be better to just grab a few free assets from some random audio libraries on the internet. The walking sounds, the UI, the classic tools. These sounds are staples of the classic era of Roblox. But most of them were actually published by obscure artists who probably never even saw a fraction of the compensation they deserve. But you know, Roblox can't be blamed too much for that. With the size it is today, it's easy to forget their humble origins. I mean, it's quite possible they couldn't afford to hire sound engineers at the time. I'm sure they'll probably just replace them later down the line. Regardless of their intentions though, they set a pretty bad example. By cutting corners in development, Roblox had already demonstrated a callous approach to sharing and using IP on their platform. And that blatant disregard of ethics will eventually evolve into their biggest threat. But surely a couple cheap sound effects aren't the end of the world, right? Let's just move along to the second phase of the timeline, aka the Gears Age. Crikey, take a look at that. See those beauties in the window there? Wow, pretty nice, right? Let's take a better look, shall we? Behold, the first 4 Gears ever uploaded to the Roblox catalog. A long sword, a bendy sword, a board with a nail in it, and liquid gold. No regrets.
You'll never catch me alive.
The introduction of Gears in 2009 established an entirely new core element of Roblox gameplay. Some Gears provided a competitive advantage in combat, others gave you power-ups, some were pretty groovy. But by far the most adaptable, and my personal favourite, were the food Gears. Now these delectable delicacies became particularly prevalent because other than tasting really good, they don't actually give you any superpowers, which made them perfect as viable cosmetics in exchange for in-game points. Surely with all these brand new high quality sounds, there's simply no way that that curse is still growing. But just to be sure, I'm gonna quickly double check that they're not all just cheap audio assets again. I'll be right back. Newsflash, they're all cheap audio assets again. Why did I keep making the same... You know, apparently even those sipping sounds are from a free audio website called
Free
Freesound.
sound by Travis Morgan in August of 2000.
Thanks for doing all the research for me, by the way, Toasted Cherries.
Sure, no problem, buddy.
Along with the sipping sound,
Hey,
Travis
Ventuous?
Morgan-
That's my name.
That one's from a site called A1 Free Sound Effects.
Oh, I already knew that from watching all your videos, dude. What the heck?
Shut up, noob! You should be grateful for my wisdom. I'm out of here.
So anyway, obviously sound quality wasn't an issue anymore. The standard MP3 audio format was already quite common by this point, and I doubt it was too expensive for them to hire sound engineers, because Roblox stood at a whopping 36 million users by the end of 2012. It was still a private company back then, so nobody really knows what their operating costs were, but surely they could afford to make their own sounds instead of yanking it from a cheap audio website for a couple bucks. You know, I know we haven't seen it yet, but if this laziness doesn't stop, we're gonna have a rough time with that code. But, if luck would have it, we might just see things improve from this point on, because we're about to witness the most pivotal phase of the entire timeline. Welcome to the age of user-generated audio. That's right. From 2009 onwards, uploading MP3 files to Roblox was limited to the status of admins. In fact, the community was so desperate at one point that some people were even coding their own music. But all that changed in September of 2013, when Roblox finally enabled their users to upload their very own audios. Initially, there was a 15-second limit and a 250 Robux price tag to participate, but by 2016, the price was sliced down to 100, and the maximum duration shot up to 7 minutes. Yep, for a dollar's worth of Robux, you could upload literally any sound you want with virtually no limits. So what if the admins aren't audio engineers? Perhaps I was expecting a little bit too much from them. But surely, with this new age of user-generated audio, our ears will be blessed by the artistic brilliance of the Roblox community. Wow, okay. Yeah, I can't put any of this in the video. Literally all of it is copyrighted. I mean, we are so cooked. It's not even funny, bro. And that's how it was. 5 years went by as the Robloxians happily continued uploading their copyrighted audio to the catalog. Clubs were thriving, boomboxes bumping, and a swelling tune played in every experience across the platform. But as the players remained in blissful ignorance, that curse was just about to reach its critical mass. Well, broskies, looks like the copyright curse was inevitable after all. Should have known that from the promo material, I guess. But I mean, how can we even beat it when we haven't even seen the thing? Alright, apparently I need to craft this super rare item. They call them the copyright goggles. No stat buffs, materials required, blah blah blah. Grants the player the ability to perceive curses. Well, I'm in a bit of a rush, so I'm sure we'll figure out some little shortcut.
Finally, after 24 hours straight of grinding, they're mine at last. Copyright goggles. All right, Macho, let's go beat that curse.
Whoa, cool goggles, bro. Did you make these for me?
What? No, I just...
Wow, that is so sweet of you, Laughability.
I promise, your sacrifice won't be in vain.
Sacrifice? What are you...
Now, with that out of the way, let's venture on into the fourth phase of the timeline. Hold on. Where's all the chaos? Where's all the destroyed buildings and stuff? What? The city should be in ruins by now, but everything looks exactly the way we left it. See, look, this guy's listening to Sicko Mode.
Audio by Newbie Rush.
Oh, wait, okay, I see what's happening here. You see, nobody really considers the true implications of uploading copyrighted content to Roblox. I mean, you can't really expect a kid to grasp all the complexities of fair use, intellectual property and how it's dictated as copyright or public domain. Not that I really understand it myself. You know, some people just want to unwind with mad games and goosebumps. Like, seriously, is that too much to ask? Point is, the effects of the copyright curse aren't visible to the average player, but for Roblox, that curse is a living nightmare. Not only was it gutting every potential partnership and investor, but the utter scale of the corruption was so immense by this point that it put the entire platform on the brink of destruction. At this rate, they could be sued for copyright infringement, and the financial toll would be catastrophic for the economy. Roblox had backed themselves into a corner with only one option left. The announcement was made on May 30th of 2018. On June 18th, the copyright purge would commence. 3 weeks passed, and the day arrived as promised. Faced with the product of their years of negligence and greed, a single blow would determine the fate of the entire platform. But a single blow wasn't enough. Roblox's desperate battle against copyright dragged on in silence for over 4 long years, clamping down on sprouting bypasses, rigorously refining the TOS, and eventually forging partnerships to join them in their battle to reverse the spread of the curse. And at last, Roblox was ready for the final blow on March 22nd of 2022. In one fell swoop, every single audio longer than 6 seconds vanished from the catalog. Boomboxes, clubs, the very atmosphere itself, not even the tycoons blasting NCS music was safe from the purge. The entire platform was engulfed in silence for just about an entire week straight. But the admins had prepared for this outcome. They knew they weren't audio engineers. That's why Roblox hired help. And all of a sudden, the hills were alive with the sound of elevator music, and a very strange selection of oddly specific and sometimes disturbing Foley sound effects.
How's that? He's really good at that.
Needless to say, the community was left utterly stunned and outraged by the purge. But Roblox stood firm in their decision. They hoped that in time, players would grow to understand their actions. I mean, this could be the clean slate they needed to revive creativity and innovation on the platform. Who knows? Give it a few years and maybe this elevator music will actually become nostalgic for some people. Sure, the aftermath seems a bit grim, but if there's anything I've learned about this game over the past decade, I do know one thing. Us Roblox players are pretty stubborn buggers, and I have no doubt they'll recover from the curse of copyright. And so it was. As the years went by, the Roblox community actually did manage to enjoy the world devoid of copyright. With a renewed perspective, Roblox continued to aid the revival of sound, even enabling users to upload their very own audio files again. Licensed music even became somewhat of a delicacy, as Roblox now had the means to collaborate with famous artists and companies. The silence was short-lived, as both the community and even Roblox themselves discovered the true meaning of powering imagination. Today, uploading audio is completely free too. In fact, uploading and sharing content in general is cheaper and easier than it's ever been. But for the sake of the platform, just try to be a bit creative. Don't just re-upload someone else's work as your own. Because even though you might not be able to see it, the curse of copyright is always watching.